Bill's been here pretty religiously. I don't know. He's not here tonight, obviously.
As long as I get the barbecue.
He's trying to get to the council.
It's 6:30. We'll call Airport Lands and Buildings Committee meeting to order. If clerk will take roll, please.
Ms. Lang?
Here.
Mr. Neff?
Here.
Mr. R. Smith?
Here. Next on the agenda is summary of proceedings, minutes from 5/5/2025's meeting.
Make a motion, we accept.
I'll second that motion.
Clerk, take roll.
Ms. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Neff?
Yes.
Mr. R. Smith?
Yes.
We have no old business. We have one item of new business, discussion for architects for the new city fire station. This is brought to us by our safety director.
Yes, I have the resolution in front of you. The selection committee met. We had 5 architects return their qualifications to us, and the selection committee went through the 5 that returned theirs, and we selected McCall Sharp to start negotiations with on the designing of the new fire station. I would just ask that under Article 6 or Section 6, the treasurer be stricken and changed to auditor. And in the last paragraph on the second page, the treasurer be struck there and auditor be placed in there. This was reformatted by our law attorney, and we both missed that correction. Any questions?
Any questions?
None for me.
I don't have any.
If not, then I will make a motion to send this on to council with the amended 2 corrections, taking treasurer out and adding auditor in.
I'll second that.
Clerk, take roll.
Ms. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Neff?
Yes.
Mr. R. Smith?
Yes.
That's a recommendation to approve.
With the changes, we'll have
With
to
the
make the
amended
amendment to
changes,
change.
recommendation to approve with changes. Going
And
on.
also, sorry, I forgot to mention, you'll notice in Section 7, that is with an emergency clause when that goes on to council. To suspend 3 readings.
Okay, yeah, waiving the requirements.
What's the deadline for this to be?
There is no deadline. However, we want to keep the process moving as quickly as possible and start some negotiations with our number 1 pick.
Okay, no further questions? And matters not on the agenda for airports, lands, and building. If there's no additional items, then we stand adjourned at 6:33.
How much you got? 3 minutes.
Can we do
job.
finance like that?
Sure. Sure. That's what we just decided.
Oh, I might as well sit here, huh? Where'd you move me to? Matt, am I down at the end?
Yeah, that
I'll have all the chairs adjusted by the time. Everybody will be saying, what?
You're not listening. missed that.
Ready?
Better wait till 6:35.
Oh, yeah, you look like.
Right on schedule.
All right, good evening, everybody. The time is 6:35. We're going to call this Municipal Services Park and Rec meeting to order. Clerk, would you please take the roll?
Mr. T. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Barr?
Present.
Ms. Lang?
Here,
Okay, we have some summary of proceedings. Has the committee had a chance to read over those?
Make a motion to approve.
second?
Clerk, please take the roll.
Mr. T. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Lang?
Yes.
Okay, we have one item of new business, and then we'll get into our discussions about the parks. The one item is the municipal wastewater treatment plant super assistant. Clerk, would you please read the ordinance?
Ordinance to amend ordinance number 1969.29, also known as the Yarger Report, as amended, last amended by ordinance 2021-058 by updating the existing job description of the Assistant Water Pollution Control Superintendent.
Okay, so this is updating the job description. Do we have anyone from wastewater here that could explain this to us a little bit better?
Mr. Ice.
Mr. Ice?
Matt Ice, Water Pollution Control. Yeah, this is to update the pay scale for the wastewater superintendent to bring it up into line with kind of an average of similar sized communities within the state.
Okay. How did you come about the average to that?
So I contacted the HR departments for 7 municipalities. They all got back to me, believe it or not, and that's how we put the salary together.
Just add a little bit to what Matt's saying is he had approached me a couple months ago about the issue of possibly losing our assistant superintendent at the wastewater. And the main factor for that would have been pay. Other places that were courting him were paying more, and this is somebody that eventually will take the place for Matt. Requires a lot of training and certification, and we don't want to lose him to a surrounding county and not have somebody in the lane. So I asked Matt to do the homework that he did. He reached out to 7 municipalities like size to us and came up with an average, and we're basically moving him to the next pay scale. That gives us a little more latitude than what we're able to offer him to stay.
Thank you for that.
Ms. Lang has a question.
I have a couple questions.
Please go right ahead.
On page 4, it says supervisor responsibilities, so we're changing that, what his responsibilities are going to be along with, or is that a previous change?
It's bolded and underlined. And then struck.
I believe that is from a previous change that was done. I believe it was updated in 21.
21?
It was updated after the previous assistant passed away.
Okay. And then I'm going to assume maybe on page 5, same thing. Certificates, license, and registrations.
So we, back then in 21, we had changed this to give them 18 months to get their Class 3 certification. So at that point, they already had to have almost 5 years of experience in order to get their Class 3. So it gave a little bit of a buffer time in there.
Okay,
So that is still, he has his Class 3, the current.
right.
So if we had to replace him, we would need
That
that
would still
grace
be,
period.
okay. And then I have one more question
Uh-huh.
on the actual ordinance where it says, whereas the administration has proposed a modification as to subject position pay grade, comma, should it say exempt non-bargaining 30E there, or should it be a period?
I don't know that I know the answer to that. I know that in the top of the job description, it designates what the pay grade is for that position.
What are we taking it from to?
It is, I believe it's pay grade 28,
28 to 30.
and I believe there is no 29, so it's going from
Okay.
28 to 30.
So do you know the answer to that, Matt?
No, I don't.
Would that be a law director question?
Yes, the law director is not able to be here right now. He also serves as legal counsel for Marion City Schools, and he is at the city school meeting for an issue they're having.
Do you, either one of you know the answer to that?
No, I think it's right. So I'll make a motion to send on to council, and then we can get that answer by then to make sure if it needs adjusted. Could do that. I think it's fine. Made a motion.
I'll second that. Clerk, please take the roll.
Mr. T. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Ms. Lang?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to our discussion about the city parks. I'll open it up to the public. If anybody has anything to say, please.
Aaron, council at large. I didn't ask for the discussion, but since it came up, I will really jump in. One thing that I have spoken to the service director about and would encourage the city is more trash cans at the park, specifically Garfield Park. Spent a lot of time there. There's really only 1 or 2 trash cans near the basketball area, up near the park area and the bench area. There tends to be a lot of trash up on the ground. It's discouraging. So additional trash receptacles would definitely be a plus. Thank you.
Certainly, thank you. Mr. Neff?
Mike Neff, City Council at large. I did get a phone call maybe a week or so ago from a constituent asking if the city and the Parks Department could take a look at Rotary Park on Waterette Street. It's an aged equipment that's made out of wood, and just they wanted to know if there's something they could look at. Honestly, I think there will be people here tonight discussing that park, but for whatever reason, MOK Neighborhood Association meetings are on Monday evening, so I believe that's why there's people out there. Thank you.
I don't really have an answer for you, but I can tell you that this is something I spoke with Kenny, the superintendent for the parks, last year when we redid Martin Luther King Park. We were talking, and he took me over there, and he said, this is the next one we want to replace. So budget willing, hopefully sometime soon that will happen, but I can't give you an exact date right now, but we are aware of it.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you, Mr. Bodine. Anybody else from the public have anything about city parks that they'd like to bring up, please?
Terry Tackett, WGH Radio. Just missed a lot of games, due to rain and stuff. Just can someone please help Brady get a grant to get some turf on those fields so we can have more games over there?
That would be awesome to see turf fields.
Send them everybody to different places to play that has turf.
Yeah, certainly. Well, I'm hopeful after this meeting to compose a big email, and definitely we'll be including our grant writer in
I'm
that.
always looking. I'm in contact with Randy. We're always looking for those.
Good.
They're just so expensive.
Yeah,
awesome.
Turf is very expensive, but I'm looking.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, does anybody from the committee have anything to bring up? No?
Had some ideas. I talked to a few people, but I wanted to reach out to ODNR about some possibilities.
Okay.
So I'll bring it back up after I have that conversation.
Well, anybody else from the public have anything to bring up? Matters not on the agenda, we have none. It's 6:44. We're adjourned.
Flying.
Hoping to get some more ideas out of that meeting.
You open it up, and other people.
Person.
Research.
We were gonna go drive around and looking through the park cams. We got the cost, we got the.
You want to trade seats?
We just were gonna go.
You can come by the playground.
I just emailed him now, we'll talk about it.
I get to leave for a couple of minutes. I'll switch places with Ralph. Switch places with
Hello.
Howdy.
Oh, here we go, it's 6:40. We're behind schedule. You ready, Matt? I'll call to order the Streets and Sewers Committee at 6:45. Clerk, will you take roll?
Mr. Barr?
Present.
Mr. T. Smith?
Here.
Mr. R. Smith?
Here.
Okay. Summary of proceedings. Has the committee had a chance to review?
I sure have. I move we accept the minutes.
I second.
Will you take roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. T. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. R. Smith?
Yes.
Okay. Is this old business? Old business, will you read?
It's actually new business.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I was wondering that too.
Yeah.
Ordinance authorizing and directing the service director to prepare plans and specification, advertise for bids, and enter into a contract for the makeup air unit replacement for the Water Pollution Control Center, appropriating the necessary funds and declaring an emergency.
Okay, this came from Mr. Rice. I'm sure he's capable of explaining, but I believe it's what moves the air underneath in the tunnels, and it actually heats it during the winter time. And this is something we've kind of known has been coming for a few years, actually, right?
Yes, so it's a dual system. There's two big furnace-type air handlers. Both of those have now gone down, and we have two other units that have been down. I've been here almost 8 years. They haven't worked for years before that. So this is to put out to bid the replacement of those two units, and hopefully, if cost allows it, to replace the two smaller units that heat the other parts of the tunnel. So the tunnel goes the whole length of the plant. Due to the fact that it's underground and we deal with wastewater, it also is a makeup air system, so that it circulates the air so many times per hour. That way it stays healthy for our employees. So this is to put it out to bids. The company that kind of put the plans together is the same one that did City Hall.
The boiler
It's a
system.
boiler system. They saved thousands of dollars here, and it sounds like they think they can save us thousands of dollars over a quote we got before we started the process.
Okay.
So,
Questions?
Yeah. How much is that quote? Do you mind sharing?
the initial quote we got was for $512,000. That was to replace the two main units. They're very hopeful that they can get all 4 units replaced for around half of that.
250?
Yeah, somewhere in that ballpark.
Ish.
Yeah, ish. They don't really know till they get the bids back, but,
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
and this would all be paid out of the sewer fund,
The enterprise
the
fund. Okay.
enterprise fund.
Any questions from the audience? Administration? Wishes of committee?
I make a motion, we send it on to council. Recommendation to approve.
I'll second that.
Clerk, will you take roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. T. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. R. Smith?
Yes.
Matters not on the agenda. Yes, sir.
Aaron Rollins, Council at Large. Had a couple phone calls over the last couple weeks regarding Johnson Street. Johnson Street was redone over the last year, so I took an opportunity to drive down there, and apparently, I have not been down there, but there's a cul-de-sac-like circle that was redone as part of the work down on Johnson Street. And some of the citizens feel like we left that circle in disrepair after the work that was done. So I kind of see what they're saying. The weeds are extremely high. We just left dirt. I don't know what it looked like prior to, so I can't speak to that. But I was just curious, is that something that the city would take care of, or is that specifically for the residents on Johnson Street?
Well, that would still be under maintenance for the contractor. It would be a 2-year maintenance bond, so if it's not what it should be, we can have them come back and repair it. So
It's really pretty neat. I mean, if they could take care of it, it would be appreciated.
we can reach out to them. And they can
Thank you.
take care of it, sure.
You'll make that call, Mr. Shetler? Thank you. Any other matters not on the agenda?
Actually, yes, since we're in streets and sewers, I have one. There's a lot of streets in this town that don't have curbs, and I know that we're struggling to get streets paved and stuff like that, but is it the same process to get curbs put in as it is having streets redone? Is it a completely different process? Is it easier to get curbs done?
It's a lot more expensive.
We replace curbs where there's already curbs. We typically don't put curbs back where there isn't any because of drainage situation. Usually there's a ditch there or something like that. That's kind of what goes with the curbs. So.
Well, I guess specifically Franklin Street, I notice it a lot. It looks like it's been paved 15 times and the curb hasn't been brought up to match.
A lot of times what happens is they don't mill that off over the years and then there's no reveal on the curb anymore. So one way to get it back is the next time it's paved is to mill that off and get some reveal on the curb. So.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that information.
Anything else? Hearing none, seeing none, we're adjourned. 6:51.
Moving right along.
Yeah.
Show me this. Are you trying to show me examples?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is wild. Sorry.
How's it going?
Good, how are you, man? Good.
Hey, where's the movie premiere tomorrow? Is it at the Palace? The Ohio State documentary?
No, it's on HBO Max.
Oh, the HBO Max. There's no one showing it.
Not that one on HBO. No.
Oh, that's a bummer.
The premiere
Ready?
last weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
Call Finance Committee to order at 6:52. Clerk, if you'll take roll.
Ms. Lang?
Yes.
Mr.
Here.
Rollins?
Here.
Mr. Ratliff?
Present.
Proceedings, finance minutes from 6/2/2025.
Motion to approve. I'll second.
Clerk, take roll.
Ms. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Rollins?
Yes.
Mr. Ratliff?
Yes.
Old business, item number 1, audits for 21, 22, and 23, and proposed path forward. Miranda, do you have anything to update us on?
So 21 is still with the state auditors. They had a couple questions that we've been responding to over the last few weeks. As far as 22 is concerned, our first deadline with Clark Schaefer Hackett was last Friday. For just some preliminary information. We were able to get it to them last Monday, so all of that was turned in. I believe our next deadline is July 11th. I'm trying to see the calendar from here and I can't. I think our next deadline is July 11th for some more additional documentation, but at that point we're hoping that the state will be done with 21.
Friday the 11th?
I believe so, yes.
So I have one question on that. I did get logged into Circuit, and I did see that there were some reports that were due. Are those the reports that
Yes.
they're in the compilation file
Yes.
at this point? Okay.
I believe there was 6 or 7 items that were due on the 13th,
Mhm.
last Friday, and we were able to get all of those turned in by Monday of last week.
Okay.
Just in case there were any errors or issues, they could respond and give us more information, but we haven't heard anything,
So as long as they're in that compilation file, we're kind of waiting on them to respond to.
There, if you look at the top of Circuit, there's these little bubbles. One of them says with client, one of them says with CSH. If it says with CSH, that means we've gotten it to them.
Okay.
So they have it, it's in their hands at that point. There's compilation files and financial audit files. Those are the two different parts of the audit.
Okay. Any questions or anything on that?
Yeah, just to help us with the process. You said there was a deadline, and then the next one is 7/11 for some documents.
can you just walk us through, what's the deadline and what's due?
So basically, the way Clark Schaefer Hackett is working it right now is through this system called Circuit. Circuit is kind of like a data upload system, and within that data upload system, they've put in what documents, what reports they need, and they've assigned deadlines to it.
Okay.
I don't want to say they're arbitrary deadlines, but they're not specific to. They're not like state deadlines or
Okay.
federal deadlines. They're Clark Schaefer Hackett deadlines.
Okay, that was my question.
Yeah.
Is that,
And to answer your question further, like, for example, a couple of those reports that they're asking for deadline is like the contracts, union contracts
like
and stuff
union
like that, that
contracts.
we have to download
Yeah.
to them, that were in place at that time in 2022.
okay, and I know we're super early on.
Yes.
But we've met every deadline so far, correct?
That's been the only one, and we've gotten everything to them, yes.
Okay, so we're still on track so far for what he told us
Yep.
when he was here. Okay.
Are we still on track with the state as far as you know for them to be done by the end of June?
As far as I know, I haven't heard anything otherwise.
Our first word, City Council, just for my own clarification, those bubbles across the top, when it says overdue, that just means that they haven't processed them. Yours have been submitted to them. I think there was one completed, and there's 6 that's red and says overdue, but they are listed in the compilation.
Did you log in today, is that why?
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, if it says overdue, that means they have them.
Okay.
I've been
And it says
looking
it's with
at.
CSH.
Yes.
And not with you. So-
And those are the bubbles that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
The with client, with CSH, and the completed bubbles.
And it says they're with CSH.
Yeah,
I just wanted to
so-
make sure that that's not gonna cause us any issues, that it's in their hands now, those reports they've asked for and that information they have, they're not necessarily overdue, it's just overdue for them to process it.
Right.
Okay.
And so what happens when we actually upload documentation is it will, I mean, might offer some clarification. It asks us to upload everything, and then it says update status to with CSH. And it sends an email to our preparers so that they know the documentation is there.
Okay.
So they should have received emails last week to let them know, hey, all this documentation is there. We haven't received word about whether or not it's incorrect information or the wrong report
And
or
I
anything
saw
like
it's
that.
all
yet.
there in the compilation folder.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure, just because it's red and it says overdue doesn't mean we're tardy with it.
Right.
It just means it hasn't been processed by them.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Is there any other questions? Okay, not moving on to item number 2, penalties and appeals.
No additional correspondence with the IRS as of right now.
And I did look at the spreadsheet, and it's still not updated.
I will do that tonight before I forget again.
Is there any other questions from anybody else on those items? If not, we'll continue on to new business, item number 3. Ordinance 2025-045, designation of deposits. Clerk, if you'll read, please.
Ordinance designating depositories of public monies of the city of Marion and declaring an emergency.
And this is as amended.
Yes. Well, the first ordinance in there is not, the changes I was asked to make is on the
Second one.
second one.
It says amended version 2.
Yes.
Yeah, in section 2, but also the active money percentages.
On the first page, we added First
Yes.
Citizens, we added national at the end of that.
Park National, well, no, you're on the
No,
section 2.
on page 1.
Yeah, section 1, where depositories of active money percent to be deposited up to.
And then on page 2, we removed J.P. Morgan Chase Bank. We removed Huntington Bank, PNC. First Citizens, we added National after that, and added Park National Bank.
Correct. And I am working with the application. I finally found out what you were asking for, and I've, well, like I said, it's a mess. I finally found some things, and the clerk helped me out by getting the state auditor's application. By me seeing that, I found some things by looking through some records, but I have to add some things.
So you do have an updated...
Yeah, Union Bank came in today and signed all the paperwork, and Park National is working with me. And well, Fifth Third, though, Brian Carter sent me an email. Things have changed with them. They don't have to. I can show you that. I can't remember it by heart, but I have it with me. The email he sent me where he doesn't have to sign an application because of things have changed. I'll show you the email someday.
And those are the only changes then?
Well, Premier Bank on the front page of the active monies, on section 1 there, well, the banks, we had Fay Bank, Union, Premier, Huntington, and First Citizen National. Well, Premier Bank was bought out by West Banco, so I have to find out about them. So Premier Bank, you can scratch them because they're no more. West Banco has bought them out.
Banco, okay. So at this point, my recommendation would leave it in committee until we get the
Right.
necessary changes and all the applications.
Right. I'm working on those now.
Is there any other questions?
Just other than to just make sure that maybe I understand that everybody's on the same page. When you look under section 2, just because we have a bank that is eligible, but if they're not put a percentage to, we still can't put money in that bank, correct?
In section 2?
In section
So,
1.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Because section 1 outlines active monies and section 2
Is
outlines
interim.
interim.
Okay.
Yeah, money we wouldn't use for 6 months or so.
Okay.
In section 2.
And we don't have any funds in the banks we've taken off, correct? As in like...
No, sir, we
Okay,
don't.
okay.
Is there any other questions?
Excuse me. Where I said about Premier Bank, did I say we putting Park National Bank there?
No.
No.
Because we'll be talking to them, and they already sent me their application of public funds. I mean, I think the banks already have those forms. I didn't know. Because when Union Bank came to me, they brought their own form and everything, so we signed paperwork with them. So I have to get with the other banks. I guess they have they're the ones that have the applications and to fill out.
So Park National Bank is going to go in place of Premier, and
Yes,
will the
ma'am.
percentage still be 10% on that then?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll find out about West Banco sometime, what they all about.
Any other questions, comments? If not, we'll move on to item number 4, Finance 29, Justice Reinvestment Appropriation. Clerk, would you read, please?
Ordinance authorizing the auditor to appropriate monies to the Justice Reinvestment Fund received by the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections ending December 31st, 2025.
Okay, this was brought by the Probation Department. Mr. Stocks is here to answer any questions.
Yeah, so this is, excuse me, this is grant money from the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections. It's $1,851 towards drug tests and $25,350 towards residential treatment.
Any questions?
Motion to send on to council with a recommendation to approve.
Second.
Clerk, take roll.
Ms. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Rollins?
Yes.
Mr. Ratliff?
Yes.
Moving on to item number 5, Finance 30, Probation Service Appropriation. Clerk, would you read, please?
Ordinance authorizing the auditor to appropriate monies to the Probation Services Fund received by the American Legion Post 584 ending December 31st, 2025.
Again, this is coming from Probation Department. Mr. Stotts, I believe we received a check.
Yeah, we received the checks deposited. So this is $15,000 for the purchase of 4 new radios for probation to go out into the field to communicate with law enforcement, and $2,000 for recovery, softball, and pro-social activities. So when we do our softball, sometimes we want to buy water or reimburse for hot dogs and so forth.
Motion to send on to council with a recommendation to approve.
Second, please.
Clerk, take roll.
Ms. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Rollins?
Yes.
Mr. Ratliff?
Yes.
Moving on to item number 6, Finance 31, Police Grant Department. If you'll read, please.
Ordinance to authorize the Safety Director to apply for a 2025 Edward Brine Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program, JAG, through the U.S. Department of Justice, and then accept and administer the grant and declaring an emergency.
Okay, I believe this is coming from our grant writer. If you'd like to detail that,
This
please.
is a grant for the police department for new radios. It's $60,000 and there is a 25% match, but I'm working with John Schaefer on it and he said that they can pay it.
You said 25% match?
Yes.
Did we apply for one already?
We have applied for a couple for the radios. They did, I think, apply for this one last year and they got it for radios, so they wouldn't apply again this year. The radios aren't going to be in service next year. They can still use them, but the parts, they're going bad all the time and the parts won't get renewed. And they're expensive, so we've applied for a couple different grants because one grant usually won't cover all of them.
Right. Do you know, just so we know, do we know how many radios that the first grant covered?
I wasn't here for that.
I think around 12.
And then how many do we need?
A total of around 70.
Okay. And how many would this cover?
We're still waiting on a quote, an updated quote. We don't know yet.
Even like a ballpark?
Yeah, they're about $4,500 a piece the last time we bought them.
So like 14, somewhere in there? Okay. And we got a grant for the like software part of it, right?
Yeah,
So that's all good?
What we did was we had to have a software patch. That's all done, but now we need new radios. The radios we have will continue to work until they break. They're obsolete and we won't ever be able to fix them again, so we need new radios. This is our continued effort to try to get grant money to pay for those radios.
Okay. So if we get this, we're getting about 40% replaced at this point, so we still have
Yeah, and we're
a
going
ways
to keep
go.
trying to keep buying
Okay.
them with grant dollars as much as we can and without going too far into the general fund except for the match.
Okay.
And I have a couple different grants out for the radios too. We've applied
Great.
for a couple different ones.
Okay. Motion to send on with a recommendation for approval?
Second.
Clerk, take roll.
Ms. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Rollins?
Yes.
Mr. Ratliff?
Yes.
Yeah. TC Wallet. Okay, item number 7, Finance 32, Strong Town Celebration. And I am going to let the clerk read, and then Mr. Rollins, please, you can have the floor then.
Ordinance making adjustments for appropriations for the year ending December 31st, 2025.
Yeah, so this is in regards to the Strongest Town Award and celebration. So first of all, I'd like to thank Service Director Bodine for representing Marion this past week in Rhode Island and actually going out and receiving the award, so thank you for that. Secondly, as the mayor has promised, I was asked to join a committee to represent City Council to plan for a celebration for the Strongest Town. Pleased to announce that the committee's been hard at work. We do have a date scheduled. We are working on safety services, entertainment, food, and this is an appropriation that I asked Tacey for $10,000 to go towards feeding the community that we're going to invite for the day. So, with that, I will open it up to any questions.
I do plan to attend the commissioners meeting tomorrow also, being that this is a countywide community event, and ask them for the same donation.
Any pre-feel of if that's gonna?
I think they're pretty receptive to it.
Okay. And is that the budget, or is there other monies involved?
There are private donations, several already secured, so we have a subcommittee that's dealing with the private side of the donations.
Great.
I know just ballpark, the food alone, they're looking at feeding like 5,000 people or something like that. That's a pretty big chunk of
So if there's no other questions, I will make a motion that we send this on to council with a recommendation to approve.
I'll second. Clerk, take roll.
Ms. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Rollins?
Yes.
Mr. Ratliff?
Yes. I know we just voted, but do we have a date yet?
August 23rd.
Okay, so it's.
You just announced that? Wow.
Well.
Okay.
That's tentative.
It's not tentative now.
They like that here.
Cat's out of the bag.
Get it on your calendar.
Tentatively from 3 to 8.
Okay. Is that a third Thursday?
Saturday.
It's a Saturday. Okay. Lincoln Park.
And tentatively at least.
Tell your friends.
Okay, any other questions, concerns? If not, moving on to item number 8, Finance 33, Income Tax Attorney General. Clerk, if you'll read, please.
Ordinance authorizing the city auditor's office, Income Tax Department to enter into an agreement with the State of Ohio's Attorney General's office to collect delinquent debt with certain approved terms as presented.
I don't know anything about this one. Miranda, would you like to
Yes.
explain?
So over the past several months, and actually, it's been discussed over the last several years, but actively pursued over the last several months. Our income tax department has been pursuing this agreement with the Attorney General's office to collect back taxes. Right now, our system is to go to the law director's office, but they are getting backlogged, and so in order to relieve them a little bit, we're going to start automating it, going to the Attorney General's office. The Attorney General also has more opportunity to actually withhold funds from citizens, whether it's for, like, through their state refunds or things like that, so that back taxes can be paid.
How far back do they go?
I believe the goal right now is to go back at least 6 years. I think, if I recall correctly, in the documentation from the state auditor's office, or the Attorney General's office, I'm sorry, I think they can go back as far as 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Do we know what the number is that's owed?
No. Not right now. And a lot of that could be due to the fact that each of these back taxes that have been estimated that people still owe, or if they haven't filed and if they haven't filed in the past but they filed recently, they could have back taxes owed on that as well. So I don't have a good estimate for you.
What if, just a question, what if they've moved out of state? Would they still be able to pursue that?
Again, that's one of those things that the State Attorney General's office has a little bit more power than we do, depending on, and I don't know as far as out of state is concerned, but I do know that if you move out of state, a lot of the time you still have to file your previous state's income tax, and so if you file that, the State Attorney General's office will see it and they can pull from it.
And I also see that there's a statutory fee of 10% to the Attorney General's office, so that would be 10% of what they collect?
No, that is 10% on top of what we're owed. So if we have a bill of $100, we send the bill to the Attorney General's office for $100. They send out a bill to the citizen for $110.
Okay. So it's no cost to us then, it's going to be, okay. Is there any other questions?
I know this is, Tracy Icohen brought this several months ago. Like we said, we've talked about it off and on, and I didn't know it was going to be on tonight either, but we could have her here maybe Monday to answer any questions on it. But it's kind of like one of those issues where if you don't have this in place, you can't do it. And if we have it in place, it gives us another option or another tool in the toolbox to try to collect some of our delinquent funds.
Yeah, no, this is
I think it's fantastic.
This is good. And you know, and it's not, I mean, it's not like we are, we're going after delinquent taxes that are owed. It's not that the person wouldn't know. It's not, and you are correct. They have a lot more processes. You know, if you have if they place a hold there, I mean, even if you were to win a jackpot in a casino, they would hold that out and not pay. You know, or your state refunds and all that kind of stuff. So I think that this is good.
Yeah. Well, not only that, like she said, it's going to free up time in the law director's office. They won't have to be spending time. They can focus on other issues. So make a motion to recommend, send on to council as recommendation to approve.
Second, please.
Clerk, take roll.
Ms. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Rollins?
Yes.
Mr. Rattler?
Yes.
Okay, matters not on the agenda.
While we just had a bit of a tax talk, I will ask a question as far as income in the city on someone like a food truck that were to come in, or someone like a vendor at the fair, or a vendor at the popcorn festival, or a singer that sings at the Palace Theater, or a dog show that may come to the Coliseum. What efforts do we make to make sure that we get a tax return? And I'm not even looking for an answer tonight, but if you could let us know what the policy is and what efforts that we make to make sure that we are getting a tax return from everyone. And and the reason that I ask this is because I know a good example would be the city of Mansfield partners with things like their county fair, to where they get a copy of every single person that that is a vendor there, and every single person that raced a horse there, and every employee that the fair had. I work at multiple county fairs, and when you work at a whole bunch, lazily sometimes you'll just put them all under Marion and you don't file 20 different cities. But then I will get a letter from a few of the cities saying, you earned, $700 in, at this, in our city, and then you got to file one there too. Which, then you've paid tax twice, but that's a whole nother, that's sometimes you take the lazy way out and it bites you. But, I just, if you can just find out, because I just think we're probably leaving money on the table some spots that we could be collecting money.
I'll do some research and get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have to, when we have vendors that come in, even like for evenings and stuff like that, do they have to get a permit or anything like that to, I guess that's a question. Do they have to apply for a permit to
If
operate
they're selling
within
food, they do.
the city from us?
Do you mean like food trucks that park across the street? Or?
Yeah. And because it's funny you brought that up, because I've been asking some of the same questions. And I was just curious if we get any revenue from any of those vendors that come in for the Popcorn Festival, and are there permits that they're required to get?
They don't apply for permits through my office. That's not to say that they don't have to, but that's not something that they do through my office.
You know, and even not even looking at self-employed people, but if we have somebody wins a bid for a street resurfacing inside the city, and employees that work all over Ohio work here for 3 weeks or something, they should be filing a city tax return for the money that they earned inside the city. You know, and we should have access to some of this information, and I'm not saying we're not doing anything, I just am wondering, you know, what our process is and what our efforts are.
Yeah, I'll do some digging and I'll get back to you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, just a quick question. Are we back to normal processes and accounts payable? And
Yes.
do you know what those processes are?
Yes, I actually had a conversation with her today. So there are multiple levels of approval. Typically, the clerks will enter the bills, then it goes from the clerks to department head to director, director to auditor's office. Once we get all of the approvals through the director, we have a packet of paperwork that usually includes the invoice and any documentation that goes along with it. That packet then gets transferred to the auditor's office. Occasionally, there's a lag time between the approval and the paperwork, or vice versa. The paperwork comes first and the approval's done.
Sure.
But what we do is she waits until she has both the approval and the paperwork before she processes those invoices. But she checks every day to make sure that she's either got one or the other or both of them in-house so that we can go ahead and get those paid.
And so when she has the approval from all levels, she has full authorization to pay those bills then, right?
Yes.
So she's not paying them on a whim, as you
Correct.
alluded to a few weeks ago, correct?
Right. So she's
Okay.
got to wait until she's got all the approvals from each department and director, and then she's got to get the paperwork before she pays them.
Okay, thank you.
And what is it, twice a week, once a week?
She checks them daily, so if there are 3 or 4 bills in there to pay today, and they're all at approval level, and she's got packets for all of them, she'll pay all of them today.
So
If
it could
there's
be
2,
daily
It could
then.
be daily, yeah.
Okay.
And just another point of clarification, she doesn't have the authority to decide not to pay one, right? Someone is
Correct.
telling her to not pay a bill. Thank you. Nothing further.
And I had one more question. How are we, the new payroll system through ADP, how's that working?
So today was our go live date for punches. So we have actually started automating the clock in, clock out process. There's been a few hiccups here and there, a couple issues as far as people that haven't been put in the system or don't have access to time and attendance within there, or they're just not registered. But the emails for registration did go out 2 weeks ago. So there's been a few hiccups. The team in the office is working on it. Chelsea is working on it. Just to make sure that we've got everything worked out. We had a call this morning at 10, and then we also had a call at 1:30 to go over a couple of different things that we needed to get adjusted. And then our go live date is still set for July 3rd for the first initial payroll to be processed. As of right now, we're on track for that. So
You said there's a couple of hiccups with the registrations. If an employee hasn't registered, is it going to hold up does that hold up the process?
if an employee has not registered, they cannot get into ADP and clock their time.
Okay, so it would be a holdup.
Right.
So you'd be contacting,
We have to go through and we have to see which employees are not registered and either send out an additional registration request or contact them in some other way to have them verify and do the registration.
maybe contact their supervisor?
Right.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns? You'll state your name and your address, please.
Kathy Filling, 108 Liberty Street, Caledonia, Ohio. I'm a member of the Village Council.
Okay,
I
it
just had a
would,
question.
first of all, what's it in reference to?
I just had a question about making an agreement with the State of Ohio Attorney General's office to collect liquid debt. Can that also be the county auditor's office? Can they enter into a contract?
No, it cannot. It's my understanding that only the Attorney General's office with the state is the only person that has the authority to do that the counties would not be able to do that. That's my understanding.
So, but if it would take, if the city can do it, and it would take.
Oh, could the county ask the Attorney General's office to do the same thing? I would think so.
That was my question.
Yeah, that would be a question
I'm
for
not
the
sure.
county. I don't know.
I'm going to assume not,
Maybe they're good.
because this runs through the Attorney General's office and then to the Ohio Department of Taxation, which does income tax, and the city runs on income tax. Now, the Attorney General, if a place is delinquent in their sales tax, or if you're delinquent in your property tax, that's a whole separate process than if you're delinquent in your income tax. And so the Ohio Department of Taxation would not have any way to help somebody.
Okay, so.
Correct.
But it would take the pressure off your office here, which would be probably the prosecutor's office, to prosecute the sheriff's sales, whatever.
Mhm.
I'm just wondering, because we have several homes in the village that are between $25,000 and $35,000 back in taxes. Okay, so we'll just have to wait our turn. All right, I just want to clarify that, the bill and that the county was too.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Adjourned? If not, we're adjourned. 7:26. On record?
Good job. You've been with us. Yeah, that's tremendous.